Okay, welcome everybody to the July 5th Athens weekly dev meeting. Just two of us today. Um, the If you go to the weekly dev meeting notes, which I'll post in the chat, we've got just some announcements in there. Since there's only two of us, I'll just mention what they are. We've got some design docs up there. There are two blog posts that I wrote as well. Encourage you to check those out. And also, if you have ideas for blog posts, I really encourage you to write one up. If you want some editing or some comments, just post them in the Athens channel on the Gophers Slack. Also wanted to mention, if PR reviews are going too slow, if you've got a PR up that you really want to get in, or you feel like you're not getting enough comments on, we have a great group in the Athens dev channel. So just at somebody, mention somebody. Feel free to mention me or someone else who you feel is a good reviewer, and let us know if you want to get a review faster, and we'll get on that as soon as we can. So I wanted to go on to kind of the meat of today. That is the first topic is getting a prototype up on the interwebs. I know that myself and Rob, who are on this call, we've both been thinking about getting one running to see how it works in the wild. Neither of us have gotten there yet, but we got big plans to do so. So, Rob, do you have any thoughts on what you're planning on doing?
I don't know my shortcuts yet. No, I think I'm just gonna try just like file storage, keep it simple on local machine, see if it runs, and play with it, and then I might try the Google Cloud driver once I get the getter set up, so you can actually retrieve the modules to see if that's working. But yeah, just poke at it and see what happens.
Sweet. Okay. So yeah, given that, I'll try. I was going to try Mongo storage against. I work for Microsoft, so I was going to try it on Azure Cosmos DB. It has a driver for Mongo, and then I'll probably do some file storage to start, and eventually try to get to Azure Blob Storage. Not a commercial for Azure. I just get it for free. So I'll try that driver. We can get a little more coverage there. Last time I tried it, there were some problems hooking up to Mongo with SSL. So I did a PR for that, and then I got it a little bit out of control, and it's huge now. So I'll probably submit another one that's super factored down, that just fixes the Mongo SSL thing. And then, yeah, I'll see if I can get that half of the house running to be super cool for us to point Vigo at one of the prototypes and see it in action. That'd be pretty rad over the next maybe week or two. Cool.
Yeah, it'd be cool to get like a development one that's always part of the continuous integration, like to deploy the development versions if they pass, at least. If they build. Yeah. So we keep an updated running version of what we have.
Oh yeah, that's a great idea. I'll submit an issue for that right after this call to remind us to do that. Yeah, how about after we get one running, either one of us, we can figure out how to get it, maybe from master, get it continuously deployed.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. How about we move on to the last item? I think Piotr mentioned this on Slack. He brought up how we're going to deal with force pushes to a tag. So I'll just say the quick kind of recap on that. We were talking about like what happens if proxy or Olympus server A grabs tag v1, let's say. Oh, hey, what's going on?
Hey, how are we doing?
Good. I'll just catch you up real quick. Sorry, I gotta. Let me catch you up real quick. the design doc is over here. I put it in the chat. Just give some little notes. Design docs are up, 2 blog posts up. If you're interested in writing one anywhere you have a blog, highly welcome that. Happy to give edits if you want. Just post them in the Athens channel. The final thing is if you need if you have a PR up and it's going too slow, you want someone to review it faster, just mention at that person or at some people in the Athens dev channel, or just say, hey, I want to get this PR reviewed. We're a friendly group. We're a small group, so it's totally welcome. We talked about hosting a prototype on the internet. Rob and I are going to try to do that. You're more than welcome to do that too, but we haven't really done that yet. So it'd be really cool for us to have it up on the internet, and Rob had a good idea to kind of get it continuously deployed from master as well, so we can test out like the real thing with Vigo, see how it's working, and find more bugs and that kind of thing. Be super rad. So we're on to the last bullet for today, at least the one that's on the doc right now. That was dealing with force pushes. So we had talked about it on Slack. Piotr, who's also known as Marpio on the Slack, he brought up this situation where if Olympus server A, let's say it's running on Google Cloud, it pulls like package M at tag v1, and then Olympus server B, let's say it's running on Azure, it pulls, well, I guess after Google Olympus pulls v1, someone force pushes to v1 some new code, and then Azure pulls the same package at v1, and now they have different code. So he brought up like, what do we do? And it's a good question. It's kind of a tricky question. So the problem is, like, we get into this situation where both clouds think they have the right stuff, but they don't really communicate after they get the thing. So we can't really automatically resolve the situation, and then two people might get two different pieces of code for the same, what they think is the same v1. So we were talking about it in Slack, and me and Michal, he is Michal Prestas on Slack, we kind of said, let's just tell people not to force push for now, and make this like a community thing and not come up with any software or tech to solve this right now. And others were saying, like Piotr was saying, oh, well, that's not the best thing. And I kind of agree. So I wanted to hear what you guys think about this problem as well before I continue. Thoughts? Opinions? Shrug. Okay, that's fair. Shrug is a valid opinion.
Yeah, I don't really know.
Okay. I forgot your name, Kunde21. Can you remind me?
It's Chad.
Chad. Okay. Sorry about that.
No, that's all right.
You have any ideas, thoughts, things you think we should be doing about this? I'll put you on the spot there.
I don't think initially, I don't think initially we want to tackle that. That's going to be one of those fun problems. Or
Yeah.
But yeah, there should be some way of identifying it as a hash as well as the tag itself. And then, if we store it and we hash either the zip or the unzip code, or however we want to identify our hashed values, and then at some point later on we can bounce the different servers off of each other and have them keep everything in line. And then the the problem there is, what is the solution once we find the problem? Like once we find the mismatched package, and I mean, my first instinct is to just give an error. Like, hey, this is an unknown entity. This V1 tag has two different hashes. Something is wrong upstream. Go solve it there.
Would we? I like that.
Because both first scene and last scene are both like understandable assumptions for how that's going to be solved on the server. And I don't know that we want to codify either one, because both can be right and both can be wrong.
Yeah. So if like the two clouds said, oh, there's a mismatch, who would we notify? Who do you think we should notify?
Can't we get like whoever wrote the most recent commits email out of the commit message and just be like, hey, fix your problem, release a new version? Because that's really what we'd want. Like even if they force push over a previous tag and they fix some bug or something, they should just be putting a new version anyway. So
yeah,
just
we can
email
definitely
them like an automated thing and say, hey, put another, minor version or something.
Yeah, I think we could definitely get their GitHub handle and then reach out that way. I feel like this would be, I mean, hopefully this would be a uncommon kind of an edge case scenario. So yeah, we could have that email like the admins of Olympus. And yeah, I feel like disabling it is probably, it's not the right thing, but having it throw a warning somehow and say, hey, this tag is under construction or out of sync or whatever, and encourage people to back off or like downgrade, or if there's a tag that's the next tag up, encourage them to upgrade, something like that. I feel like, yeah, we could start with completely manual and tell people, hey, don't force push to your tags. That's a bad practice. And I like that, Chad. That sounds good. Sounds like maybe the best we can do for a while.
Yeah, and I think it'll be rare in that not many packages will run into it, but there's going to be packages that, like, old habits die hard. Somebody's going to be out there. It's just a minor bug. Here, let me force push this, and it's going to be run into more than a few times.
Yeah. I have a dumb Git question that I should probably know. Given two commits, is there a way to tell if one precedes the other?
In the case of both still existing, I mean, you can look at the timestamp on it.
Okay.
But if you're talking about a force push, that's going to overwrite. So it's going to erase it from, it's going to be different histories on each one. So
Yeah.
you're not going to be able to tell which one was force pushed and when, really.
Okay. I guess if Cloud A had one that has timestamp yesterday and Cloud B has the same commit timestamp today, I guess Cloud B could say, oh, Cloud A has an earlier timestamp from GitHub, and that's a central like causal data store. Then Cloud B could say, okay, well, I'm going to just use the earlier one from Cloud A. And we could then automatically say, hey, if you force push, it's not going to affect Olympus. It's just Olympus will automatically use the old version.
The problem there comes in that we're not guaranteed to have the first tag. I mean, the first push to that tag may or may not be pulled through Olympus, so that force push may or may not run into an issue at our stage.
Yeah, good point. Crap. I'm inclined to say to folks, at least for now, like you said, I'm inclined to say, don't do this. It's bad practice. It's undefined results for Olympus. Because Chad, like what you just said, I feel like that's going to be a problem no matter what we do to solve the like force push between two clouds problem. Yeah. Okay. I guess it's something we need to think about some more and see like is there anything we can do with the GitHub API? Something like that. Maybe the GitHub API has a better history of what tags do, or GitHub releases, I guess. Okay.
Could be.
Yeah.
I don't think the underlying Git will have it, but GitHub might have some separate metadata on that.
Yeah.
It was force pushed.
Yeah. So this problem, yeah, I mean, no matter what, unless GitHub has metadata, like you said, this problem will be a problem no matter what. But just as a note, going forward as like a next, like a V2 of this system, we will probably have something more like a registry, like NPM style or cargo style, in addition to the GitHub integration part. And that will be more of like a central data store that you publish your code to from your CI or whatever. And that lets you have like custom domains and custom package names and stuff. So that half of Olympus, which we expect to be in a while, that wouldn't suffer kind of these same problems. It would be more, we're the central code storage and metadata storage, separate from GitHub and so on. So it's a partial solution, I guess. But I would imagine that's in a while. It's major release after V1, and we're not even at V1 yet. So, yeah. Hello, 208-581.
Sorry, I should say Marwan, but I guess it's
Okay.
using my work laptop. Sorry if I'm interrupting.
No worries.
I can introduce myself and everything, but I just joined and I'm a little late, I know.
That's cool. Yeah, introduce yourself. How's it going?
Hey, let me try to see if I can open the camera so you know I'm a human. Hey, my name is Marwan, and I actually work at the New York Times, and I just started reading your articles, and I saw the link,
Cool.
and randomly I'm like, oh, it is Thursday at almost 11, or a little bit after 11 a.m., so I clicked the link, and here I am.
Awesome.
But I work on a few of the repositories in Go, and we use dep, and so I'm trying to catch up, and I think I'm the only one who is trying to catch up in my team before things get like complex when it gets official, or at least when 1.11 is released. So sort of lurking in the shadows, but I would love to help if there's anything I can do.
Cool.
Yeah.
On that note, do you have the link to the Google Doc for the dev meetings?
Yeah, the Athens Weekly.
Cool.
I do.
If you look under July 5th, under Aaron, some notes, there are 2 design docs, and then there's also a note sort of under there that says hosting a prototype on the internet. And that is kind of complicated, but if you dare to take it on, the more people that try that, the better, because we're kind of at that spot where, hey, we can probably try to host this thing and test it out for real with Vigo and so on. And if you try it out, like, feel free to ask questions in the Athens channel and so on. And if you don't try it out, obviously there's plenty of work in the issue queue too. So up to you.
The prototype is basically hosting the proxy, the Zeus proxy, or is it hosting the whole thing?
It's kind of up to you.
Okay.
The thing that I'm going to try is hosting the registry, the Olympus registry.
Okay.
Yeah, and if you want to try the proxy, totally cool, and that can still be your registry for Vigo and pull stuff from GitHub and so on. So yeah, up to you.
I can, yeah, I mean, if you guys don't mind me bothering you a million times on the Slack channel, I'll join it today and try it out. I have
Not at all.
pretty empty weekend coming up, so.
Sweet. Yeah, the docs are not the best, so you'll probably have to go splunking and code, and totally feel free to ask questions.
Great. I just joined the Slack channel.
Sweet. I'll give you the little wave emoji just because.
Always take a welcome.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, and we're doing this every Thursday, 11 Pacific time. So totally encourage you to join whenever you can. Yeah, and this doc is open for edit to everybody. So I'll put up the July whatever for next week, and just feel free to add stuff to the agenda if you want to talk about it. I will probably be adding stuff about the problems I ran into when I tried to make this thing run. And yeah, FYI, we'll probably go into that in a lot of depth next week.
For sure. I actually have a totally random question now that we're kind of digging a little bit deeper. I skimmed through the last YouTube video for this meeting, and I saw someone might have wanted to pick up the log stuff for improving logs.
Mm-hmm.
I've completely randomly, that's something I've been working on at work, and because we also have multi-clouds, I've realized some structured logs have to be specific to the cloud they're being hosted on. For example, GCP, to take leveled logs, the JSON payload has to say severity, but I'm not sure what AWS is, but every cloud provider probably has some sort of actual key names that are different. So it might be a good thing, since I know Athens is trying to be spread over different clouds, then the logs will have to have some sort of init function that knows what cloud they should kind of configure themselves to do.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the first totally random thing I thought of when I saw that video. And I don't know if that's being tracked or being thought of or not.
You are the first one to bring that up, actually. Did you see the issue number for that work?
I was just watching the video and I realized this meeting is already happening, but I can pull it up.
I actually have it up. I'll paste it into the chat.
Oh, awesome.
I'll put it into Slack so it's persisted. Would you be up for taking some of that on?
Sure, yeah. I mean, that would be awesome. Let's see. Yeah, improve logging. If there is, so has there been any progress, or is it assigned to anybody yet?
Not that I know of on the progress side.
Cool.
Yeah, and if you want to take it on, like, do whatever chunk of work. If you want to do one cloud, or you want to do just a framework, or you want to do everything, totally up to you.
Cool. What I was thinking was, once I maybe like just set up, I have seriously just started, so I need, once I figure out maybe the API a little bit and try it out locally and see what the flow is, like, down the chain of packages or whatever. It'd be nice to set up our own log package and see, and potentially extend a library that already exists to have all the nice functionalities that they do for structured logging. Then add specific things to, like, maybe configure that, right? So I don't know if you guys have an opinion about that before I go and jump in and just write a bunch of code. If you have any ideas, I kind of have had a specific way just for the projects that I've been doing. So I don't want to just kind of jump on that. If you guys have any opinions, just let me know, or maybe we could talk on the issue. It's up to you.
Any initial? Yeah, I mean, our logging is pretty rudimentary, but I want to see what you guys think. Rob, Chad, if you have any ideas.
I don't have any issues with taking that on. I haven't experienced any of the other clouds. I've only worked on GCP with Go, so I haven't run into that. I didn't realize that was going to be an issue.
Yeah, I've run into that when I realized I've used Logris because that's usually the default one people use, and Logris says like level instead of severity, and that's the first thing I noticed when I use GCP. It's that GCP, when it wants to parse the level, it looks for the key called severity. And so that's when I said maybe AWS or Azure use completely different ways to do these things. So I've also mainly just used GCP when it comes to Go and logging.
My take is like our logging is just a standard library logger.
Yeah.
So to me, it kind of makes sense to do kind of that interface with a bunch of different implementations that depend on the cloud. I mean, one of those implementations could be like just do the basic standard library logging, and then we can build the individual clouds and maybe some other fancy stuff as we go.
Right. I guess I also have a question about, and I'm sorry, I feel like I completely just jumped in and hijacked everything. So
that's cool.
Is logging going to be a way into error handling and debugging? Like, should logging just be sort of informational and like here, switch on debug to just see all the info? Or is it going to be like, this is where we see where unexpected things happen in the entire system? So is logging and error handling going to be sort of coupled in a way? Or
I have some opinions there, but the first thing is we have some rudimentary distributed tracing in Olympus. So that's probably more of where error handling happens. Okay. But the distributed tracer is probably where our logging should also be stored. Mm-hmm. So, loggers would be passed down the stack and each one would have its own context. Mm-hmm. So in that, I think they're orthogonal except for that point of coupling. So right. Really, I guess they're not orthogonal, but I like to say that word. So, yeah, I mean, I guess to answer your question, yes and no. That's my opinion. I don't know if others have different takes. Cool. Yeah, don't be afraid to hit people up. I am AR/Schles, SCHLES. Just, at me or at other folks in the dev channel. And we'll give our slightly correct opinions / ideas on the code base.
Sounds good. Yeah, we're so at the New York Times, we're just starting to kind of try Vigo on some certain projects, usually the smaller ones that are not breaking. So obviously this is super early. And then most of the problems we've been having with Vigo usually comes with packages that have a tag over 2, but it's not part of the import path. So I feel like you're going to hear a lot from us once that gets fixed. So I'm just trying to kind of pave the way first now.
That's totally awesome. I'm looking forward to that, having some more folks.
Cool.
We've got Microsoft is pretty involved with this. I work there. Some of the other folks you'll see on the channel also work there. There's going to be folks from other cloud companies, and definitely Chad, you work somewhere cloudy, I think.
No, fintech based in Southeast Asia.
Okay, I was off, but that's awesome. I think Yeah, so I mean, you guys, New York Times is not the only one for sure, but having that perspective is going to be amazing. So yeah,
Great.
please join, flood the channel, everybody, with ideas, contributions, anything else. Oh, and by the way, I mentioned this earlier in the meeting. I've been writing some blog posts. I'm going to probably do one a week. If you guys have ideas for posts, by all means, post them. If you want edits or if you want to post something and need ideas, whatever, just ask in the channel as well. I, for one, have like a million ideas and I can't write that well or that frequently. So happy to share. But the more the message about this gets out, I think the better off the community will be because a centralized repo that lasts a while, if not forever, is going to be amazing for the community.
For sure.
Cool. All right, y'all. Any other things you want to talk about, ideas, etc.? Cool.
I was gonna say, yeah, the more we get some explanation as to how things work. So like the second article explaining the endpoints, that's super awesome because then that gives me an idea of like when I'm looking into the code that probably is not like you said, extremely documented at this point. Then that would be super helpful when it comes to write-ups. And even about Vigo itself, like, because I'm going to be honest, Russ's articles about Vigo just went over my head when I tried to read them. So maybe a simplified version as we go through Athens of how it interacts with Vigo. Maybe that'll be a kind of a simpler, or at least it would make some sort of sense to me or other people who are at the same level of intelligence. That is kind of, yeah. But yeah, that's just a suggestion. But obviously I'll be doing my own digging into all of that.
Cool. I got you. I have a friend who's going to write stuff up. Now that you mentioned that, I'll write some more stuff up about like the Vigo side, not as much the Athens side. Yeah, I totally got you.
Great.
Sweet. We are a couple minutes over. I actually have to go. We'll see you next week, and definitely be loud on the channel. I'm always around. So cool, y'all.
Good. Thank
See you
you.
soon. Yep.